Every player's PCA has been defined by the choices they've made.
Harder.
Every decision has mapped a path on a unique journey.
Can I see what you have? It'll be on TV in a month.
But all roads must eventually lead to the same place.
You'll never believe what I pulled in there.
Bang, 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 bang! Yeah!
Please don't call me Oliver.
What? 8 seats, 1 table, everybody's dream. It's day 5 of the PokerStars.com PCA 10 main event, and as the players return to the Imperial Ballroom, all have the final table looming large in their minds. With the field now at just 21, there's nowhere for these players to hide. No pot is too trivial, and there's no margin for error. Last time, Triple Crown winner Jake Cody's deep run came to an end. Robert Mizrachi's campaign to improve on his 4th place finish continued. And Dimitar Danchev took a huge chip lead in the biggest hand of the tournament when Patrick Kelly put the Bulgarian to the test.
He was playing solid till that moment, very solid. I had kings, I 4-bet him, he called, the flop came queen 10-7, and I bet and he moved all in.
A moment.
I had a feeling something wasn't really right because he looked really nervous. I made a decision based on my read, and the pot size was really big at that moment. I had to go with my hand. I felt stressed even 2 hours after the hand. I was like a bit mind blown because it was a big pressure for me.
Well, everyone's still talking about that hand, which was the last hand of day 4. And there's the man himself, coming into day 5 as chip leader.
He has bottom pair, 7-6.
Did it?
Yeah, for all the trips. Like, the guy has like 6 million. No, the guy had kings, but thought about it forever because the guy's been playing so tight. He almost got him off of it.
Rob Mizrachi's in a great spot to make his 2nd PCA final table. I think you got a dirty stack there, Rob. And bang, 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 bang! Sorry, it's Michael Littman.
The coach has a seat on our feature table alongside Dimitar Danchev. Now question, what do Dimitar and Olivier Bousquet have in common? Answer, both have runner-up finishes on Season 8 of the EPT. And pocketing the penultimate prize in a tournament is a bittersweet success, a taste still fresh in the mouths of these two.
In Italy during EPT Campione, I actually got 2nd.
I finished 2nd in San Remo.
For me to win this tournament, it would just be unbelievable. It would really mean the world.
EPT title or PCA would be the biggest achievement of my life.
Last season's grand final champion starts the day with small chips, but big hopes.
I'm just running hot in the big ones, which is just a great problem to have. Hopefully I can continue to run good in this big one.
And from proven talent with different agendas to an online qualifier out to defy the odds.
Não acredito ainda, eu parece que estou a dormir, parece que estou a sonhar. É uma coisa irreal o que estou a viver. Vir de torneio de $10.
$10 to enter, $1.9 million for first. That's a return on investment of about 1,900%. Is Mosen writing that tweet with a pen? You know, James, we've got to hold on to what we've got, because it doesn't make a difference if we make it or not.
While I'm in town, this will be a Bon Jovi-free zone. So we're playing 7-handed, we've got the tournament chip leader, we've also got the super short stack, Mosen Charania, and we've got George Clyde Smith, another player who qualified via one of those $10 online satellites. So let's get day 5 action underway.
Why are you called coach?
Coaches high school basketball.
I run a non-profit, an AAU program out of South Florida, Nike Elite team called the South Beach All-Stars. Coach Littman, Coach Mike, that's what the kids call me.
Well, to his face at least.
Blinds 12-24 with a 3K ante, and Mosen Charania is all in with a 7 suited.
He pretty much has to, but you don't really want to get called.
Littman in the small blind, folds, and Danchev passes as well. Charania's shove gets through.
And Mosin chips up to 1/9 average.
Over at the outer table, one of the French Canadians is all in and is in bad shape against his fellow countryman.
I haven't seen two Canadians go at it like this since I saw William Shatner cage fight a moose.
Not sure why Jonathan Roy's standing up. He's got the best hand and he's not the player at risk. It's Rivet who's on the verge of going out here if he doesn't hit a 10.
Good luck, guys.
Hate to get it in against your buds, but this was unavoidable.
Not looking good for Guillaume Rivet. 2 outs, 5% chance of survival. Rivet's out.
Guillaume, gutted.
He's our 21st place finisher. He'll collect $56,000. His chips go across to Jonathan Roy.
Busting out of a poker tournament is hard. You're like, where do I go?
Just 2 Quebecers remain in the field, Roy and Yan Dion.
Plus, Jan's got to get back to CTU.
On the secondary feature table, Anthony Border has just c-bet the flop for $55,000. Decision on João Nogueira. He calls.
Kind of a loose call. If he hits his jack, we'll know how he got this far.
Turn brings an 8. Border slows down, he checks.
You missed, Nogueira. What do you do now?
Looks like he will bet.
Oh, well, this is interesting.
$266,000 in the pot, and he bets 110K.
This is a pretty scary board for 2 threes. There's actually 2 different kinds of run good. The kind where you can hit your hand, and the kind where you're up against a hand that can't possibly call you.
Border's hand definitely falling into the latter category. He gives it up.
You know, it won't be scary if there's a power outage, because Border's shirt could light away to the exit.
Now, we mentioned João Nogueira won his seat to the PCA in a $10 qualifier. He actually won a seat into that tournament via a $1 sit and go. That's right. João Nogueira could potentially turn $1 into nearly 1.9 million.
That's, good.
You don't say. Back at the feature table, Mosin Charania has deuces under the gun, and he shoves.
Another hand you really don't want to get called with, unless it's by Deuce Trey.
I call.
Lippman's gonna call with Queen Jack on the button.
Don't love the call. Yes, it's for not many big blinds, but you've got 2 people act behind you, like this guy.
Jerry Wong in the big blind with ace-10.
I think if Lippman had re-raised, Wong's forced to fold this. As it stands, now Wong may be the one putting in the 3-bet.
315.
He does re-raise.
Well, I didn't love Lippman's first call.
I call.
And now we are officially breaking up.
I register the high roller. Go hang out over there.
Good news for Mosin is that he's only up against unpaired hands that will have to hit to win.
And there is a 10-high flop. Wong takes the lead.
He's gonna love this flop. Now Mosin knows if there's a bet here, he's toast.
$200.
There is a bet of 200,000.
Small bet.
All in.
What?
Some hope for Mosin.
All in.
I call.
Never mind.
So looks like Charania is going out, and Wong is going to double up through Lippman.
Are we sure Lippman's not a football coach? Because that was an absolute punt.
Oh boy, actually had a hand.
I need paint. I need paint. I need paint. Give me a paint. Give me paint.
That's not paint.
It's a 6.
Give me a paint.
Mosin's hopes of doing the double have all but faded.
Feel it's coming, baby. Come on. Give me paint. Give me paint. Give me paint. Paint.
That's not paint either.
That's somebody.
Come on, sister.
Good luck, guys.
The one argument for Lippman's shove was a huge side pot, but doing it with no equity, woof.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we have lost our last remaining EPT champion.
Ryan. Coach just blew up.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Like an overinflated basketball.
Just don't believe me, huh?
No, I didn't believe you.
Well, now Wong's got all the chips. Believe that.
Jerry Wong playing a stack of over 2.4 million, which means he is now 4th in chips overall behind Owen Crow, Ryan Fair, and Dimitar Danchev. Still the chip leader with nearly 4.2 million. And note that both online qualifiers, Nogueira and Clyde Smith, are in the top 10, with 19 players remaining. Let's head over to our secondary feature table. Ace-King for Olivier Bousquet under the gun. He raises, makes it 50k. Aces for Ryan Fair.
Wow.
He 3-bets. And Border's got queens.
Audience.
He shoves.
Holy cold deck after cold deck after cold deck. I don't see Bousquet getting away.
All in.
He moves all in. And Ryan Fair snap calls.
Ryan's got a better than fair chance of busting 2 players here. Some people run good at life. And some people buy lime green hoodies.
A good flop for Fair. Bousquet needs running cards. Border needs a queen. Olivier Bousquet is now drawing dead.
Just 2 outs for Borda.
The river card is a deuce.
Good luck, guys. Thank you.
A double elimination. Olivier Bousquet out in 19th. Anthony Border out in 18th.
We've got a new chip leader.
Decent spot there, right?
Yeah, I play tight, man.
I guess the tightness is what explains the 3-day-long massage.
So Dimitar Danchev is now second in chips and the last remaining EPT bridesmaid.
Meanwhile, these poor guys got it in with ace, king, and queens and can't even say they got it in good.
So near, and yet so far. Another all-in at the outer table.
The river's too stressful.
Eddie Sabat at risk and needing help on the river.
Or he'll be hitting the lazy river outside.
All right, good game, guys.
Eddie Sabat out in 17th.
I know that voice. You're saying good game, but you're also kind of almost crying.
Another deep run for Eddie. His 4th cash in this tournament.
He's like a PCA bridesmaid.
And with his elimination, we are down to the last 2 tables. We are down to the last 16 players in the PCA 10 main event. Just 2 tables of 8 persist in pursuit of the PokerStars.com PCA 10 main event title. And before the sun sets on today, half the field must be whittled away until the final table lead rolls have been cast. Who among the group has what it takes to make it to day 6?
My money's on Mosen and Olivier Bousquet.
I'll take your money and I'll give you good odds. These are the big stacks headlined by Ryan Fair and Dimitar Danchev. And among the short stacks are Robert Mizraki and the coach, Michael Littman, with just 6 big blinds.
Littman's in really rough shape after getting a little aggro with queen high. Happens.
Blinds now 15,000 and 30,000 with a 4,000 ante. Action's on Michael Littman. He has ace-8 under the gun.
You don't love it, but with his stack, you gotta go with any ace.
He limps. The Gibbons.
Is he trapping?
Action folded around to George Clyde Smith on the button. Thinks about it and then folds. Jan Dion has jacks in the small blind.
Okay, well, this isn't supposed to end well for ace-8.
Dion raises to 85,000.
How much is that?
85,000.
And Littman
Time to spring that trap.
will call the double Gibbons.
I repeat. What? He should absolutely be all in here. Twice now.
Well, it's worked out for him with an ace-high flop. By the way, we've just lost Manik Lerza from the other table.
This is unreal.
Dion checks, Littman moves all in.
Dion can't really like it, but obviously he has to call.
And he does call. So the coach's tournament life is on the line, but he is ahead.
He just has to fade 2 jacks. Work it out, coach.
Un poquito. Un poquito.
He's got it.
Un poquito.
Dion picks up additional outs.
Un poquito.
The king will spike him a nice little gutty on the river.
Un poquito. Un poquito. Baby, baby, baby.
It is a king!
Wow, that was pretty unlucky, actually. Looks like it's time for Michael Jordan's 3rd retirement.
Thanks, guys.
A round of applause for the coach, Michael Littman, as he exits in 15th place.
His antics prior to this aside, this is what poker's all about. A regular guy with no business being here goes super deep. You know, I think I might miss Michael Littman. Bang, 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 bang! for old time's sake. Can't believe Dion got there. He was 10% on the flop. See, it happens live too, people.
Well, on the other table, Joel Nogueira has 3-bet Robert Mizrachi pre-flop. Mizrachi calls.
Ace-queen is a hand you don't always want to 3-bet an under-the-gun raiser with, but against Rob Mizrachi, you should be doing it all day.
And it is a queen-high flop. Mizrachi checks.
Oh, I missed the count. Because of you. I think over maybe 3.5.
And Nogueira bets $500,000 and wins the pot.
That overbet's going to get you no action when you're ahead, and a few times you're behind, you're going to get all of the actions. But he is having a blast, just like Rob Mizrachi.
Nogueira now up to nearly $3 million in chips.
Este é o primeiro torneio grande ao vivo que eu jogo. Nunca tinha jogado nenhum torneio deste tamanho assim. Eu qualifiquei-me para este PCA a jogar num torneio de qualificação de $1. Quando cheguei aqui e comecei a jogar, estava um pouco nervoso, estava sentado ao lado dos melhores do mundo. Eu cheguei aqui sozinho no primeiro dia e eu não sabia que o João Nunes ia estar cá a jogar. Tem-me ajudado muito, tem-me dado as dicas e eu tenho seguido os conselhos dele. Acabei os meus estudos, agora trabalhava em part-time, só que a pessoa que me tinha empregado já não precisa de mim e estou sem emprego. Eu estava a viver com a minha mãe é que me mantinha. $1.8 milhões para mim e para a minha família significaria uma vida nova. Dava para ter uma boa vida, uma vida estável. Eu quero ganhar este prémio muito mesmo. O primeiro lugar, para mim, tinha uma vida nova. Não está mal que estou a ganhar, mas quanto mais longe chegar, melhor. Espero chegar muito longe ainda.
What an inspirational story. But is it just me, or do the trailers always show way too much?
We're heading back to our feature table because it's time to sweat with Dimitar.
Sounds like a really, really, really budget workout video.
We're only going to see Dimitar Denchev's hole cards here and play the hand from his perspective. Action's been folded to George Clyde Smith in the cutoff. He passes. Jan Dion on the button.
Well, most folks are going to be raising their buttons pretty wide. Still, I wouldn't expect Jan to have total air.
He makes it 60,000. Andrei Shatilov folds the small. And Danchev is 8-5 suited in the big.
This might sound crazy, but we can defend this for a min raise, actually. We're getting decent implied odds, and it's technically a suited connector. I'd rather defend with this than King 8 or King 5, actually.
Danchev does call. Heads up to the flop. Ace 8-3. Danchev with second pair, checks.
Check into the razor. Fine.
Dion continues for 55K.
Dion doesn't necessarily need to have an ace to raise or to c-bet this flop. Plus, we're getting absurd odds to call with second pair. And James, have you heard? Absurd, surd, surd. Surd's the word.
Just when I thought it was impossible for us to sink any lower.
Well, we just turned two pair, but it's kind of a meh two pair on a 3 straight, 3 flush board.
Danchev checks a second time. And Dion checks behind as Darren Elias is eliminated from the other table. King of clubs on the river, 4-card flush out there now.
Not a great card, but we are beating everything in his range except for flushes and a set of kings. I say check and make a decision based on if and what he bets.
Danchev does check. There's 269,000 in the pot. And Dion will bet 155,000.
As much as it pains me, I think we're calling here. In general, I think Dion's going to be bluffing enough for us to call because he expects we're going to have an 8 or a 3 most of the time. Which I think is what he's trying to make us fold. It's a call I probably couldn't make in real life, but for Danchev's money in his tournament, I am all about it. You can do it.
He does call. And Dion will show 7-3 for bottom pair.
Wow. Pwned.
8.
8-5.
Okay. Så jeg går ikke levere. Så er happy.
To everyone who just sweated with Dimitar there, we nailed it. Well played, us.
Danchev up over 5 million in chips. And at the other table, Robert Mizrachi is all in.
And he has dominated with just 2 cards to come.
No, I said interesting. Okay, a little bit more interesting.
King, I'll take the king. King's a chop. Oh, chop. Chop suey.
And you know what they say?
Everyone loves a chop pot. That was a chop pot, kids.
And life goes on.
Good hand, Robert.
Not really. Thanks. Yeah, I like it. Free roll.
Rob Mizrachi's living on borrowed time, and it started right there.
Meanwhile, the 25K high roller event is getting underway. Eugene Kachlov and Elke taking their seats. There's last year's champ Alex Bilica. Meanwhile, a game of Loddon Thinks has just kicked off.
1,500?
What? What? Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Yo, just ship 100. Ship 6,000. You guys are such a big.
You wear it to nothing.
Yeah, but that's not me.
Somebody get Johnny Loddon away from Michael Phelps. We actually want him to stay around poker.
And there's Olivier Bousquet, who, having busted the main event, has invested $25,000 in the high roller.
No big deal.
Back to the feature table. Blind still 15-30. Action on Jerry Wong. Ace queen off in the cutoff. He raises to 60,000. George Clyde Smith has 6-7 suited in the small blind.
GCS has got the kind of hand you could want to take a flop with. Usually you're 3-betting out of the small blind, but this is a hand he can just call if he wants.
He does call. Yan Dion with ace-king suited in the big blind.
Oh boy, Yan Dion's actually got a hand.
He re-raises a 3-bet to 265K.
Wong is in real trouble here. The only thing he's really got going for him is position and a lot of chips to lose.
He calls, and George Clyde Smith gets out of the way. Heads up to the flop. All fours.
I'd say a C-bet isn't mandatory here.
Dion checks. And Jerry Wong will bet by the looks of things. That's 175,000.
Yeah, I don't love this bet. I just don't think you're ever folding out a better hand on this flop. You might as well take the free card.
Dion calls. The turn is a 9. Dion checks a second time.
Best just to check behind.
Wong bets again, 300,000.
I still really don't like this, especially after we got called on the flop. For the same reasons as above, and add in the fact that I think we're never getting value here either.
Dion calls, and it's a queen on the river. Wong gets there.
Sweet, sassy Mo Lassie, he rivered a queen.
Dion checks a third time, and looks like Wong will empty the clip.
Yeah, now he actually can bomb the river.
650,000.
Yan Dion is in a gross spot because this run out was awful for ace-king.
He folds.
Yeah, hit all kinds of in-position calling ranges. Pretty well played by Yan Dion. Got it right on every street.
Jerry Wong now up to 3.6 million in chips.
If hating the way he played that hand is Wong, I don't want to be white.
Let's check in on the action at our secondary feature table. We've got Mizrachi and Mika going to the flop. Mika 3-bet pre, and Rob cold call from the big blind.
They're racing if we see all 5 cards.
It's a king high flop with 2 hearts. Rob's gonna shove.
Got a pair.
And Mika calls.
The old stop and go. Don't think Mika could ever fold an over and a gut shot for that bet. Rob is ahead, but Mika's got outs up the wazoo.
Couldn't fold.
Nah, brah.
Turn is a 6. Mizrachi a 77% favorite to double up. But it's an ace on the river. And that's it for Rob Mizrachi.
Rob's come so close in this tournament twice before. I know he thought this was going to be the one.
It's 2010 all over again. Rob Mizrachi just misses out on a seat at the PCA main event final table.
Let's give him a minute.
And Joel Mika, having busted the last remaining Mizrachi, is now playing a 58 big blind stack.
Feeling okay. Nothing I could do. I mean, ace on the river. But played my heart out, you know. A couple of hands I wish I played different, but that's tournament.
And Ryan Fair is now the last of the Floridians.
Stay alive, Ryan. I will find you.
And that painful walk out of the poker room that Robert Mizrachi now knows all too well. Welcome back to PCA 10 here at Atlantis in the Bahamas. Now, the main event is always the big draw, but one of the most enjoyable tournaments here for players and spectators alike is the World Cup of Poker. We caught up with German team pro Jan Heitmann, who recalls one of its most controversial moments.
My favorite moment at the PCA? I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but it was for sure the weirdest moment that I've been in poker, I think. It's the World Cup of Poker, 9 nations at the table. Now our guy has a decision, so I'm already on the edge of my seat and I'm like thinking, oh my god, if he has queens, it's probably a fold. If he has kings, I don't know if I can do that. And then he turns around and I call timeout right away. Yeah, and so we move over to a little table where we can discuss the strategy.
We have this German very, very confused now. They need 5 of them to be just one guy.
And he goes, yeah, I have aces. I'm like, FML? Everybody's gonna hate us? Another guy, also a qualifier, he says, well, let's get back to the table and then we'll wait a little bit. I'm like, no. We get back to the table right away. You're gonna say call, turn your hand over, and I'm going to the Canadians and buy a lot of beer for the night.
I called.
It was really an honest mistake.
Sorry, guy.
The German guy comes back and he turns over aces and Darius goes like, ah, he actually took it really well.
No idea why you even call timeout.
The Canadians took it well too with all the beer that I bought them.
Don't apologize, give us our chips back. We're good.
Yeah, I think Jan Heitmann's rewriting history slightly. I remember it being much worse than that.
I think the most incredible part of the story is that the aces held.
Well, from this year's World Cup, back to the main event. And welcome to Cooler of the Week on the European Poker Tour. Dimitar Danchev with aces, George Clyde Smith with queens.
I wonder if Dimitar wants to call a timeout.
Well, he will raise with the aces. Makes it 280k.
Hold on.
George Clyde Smith shoves.
Yeah, that was inevitable.
Call.
Danchev calls.
There are a lot of hands Dimitar could have been raising on a 10-high board that queens are beating. Just a cold deck.
2 outs for George Clyde Smith.
Danchev in a great spot.
Got a club there.
George can make running clubs, but he's an even bigger dog than had it gone in before the flop.
Club on the turn.
Club or a queen.
Always a sweat.
Not Danchev's first rodeo.
No club on the river.
Cheers, man.
And that'll do it for George Clyde Smith.
Brutal spot to go out. Just 2 more eliminations, and we have a final table. And say goodbye to George of the Greenfelt Jungle. Watch out for those queens.
Dimitar Danchev, second on the leaderboard with close to 5 million. The man out in front, Ryan Fair, with more than 5.5 million.
And that is not the top 10. That is the final 10. Tables are both now 5-handed.
While our chip leader is in action on the secondary feature table. He called Mikhail Blomley's raise pre-flop. It went check on the flop. 7 on the turn. And Ryan Fair now leads.
Again, you can't make any wrong decision here.
Is he telling him he can't afford to make a wrong decision, or any decision he makes is not wrong? Because there's definitely a wrong decision here.
Ooh. Thought you were clicking it back.
We got a talker.
Blomley has called and the board pairs on the river.
Talker or no, this is a pretty sweet value bet.
250,000. Blomley pays it off.
Gotta give Ryan Fair credit for knowing exactly where he was at in the hand. I guess you could say it was a fair play. Oh my god, I nailed it!
You could say that, but would you really want to make a pun that bad?
Yes?
Ryan Fair now has close to 6 million chips.
When you grow up, your family kind of forces you into their profession. My dad was a doctor, my brother's a maxillofacial surgeon. While in dental school at University of Florida, I got into poker and I didn't really know how to play, but I knew I had some kind of natural ability because I was still beating people without really knowing the rules. So I said, hey, give it a shot. That's where it all began. You know, I think people get too caught up with, you know, how many people are left, What chip stack am I? One of my greatest skills is I don't care. It's a business trip for me. I like the beach and everything like that, but to be honest, it's a business trip. I'm not trying to brag. I just want the 1.8 million. Every tournament I play, I'm playing for first. I'm not playing to cash. I'm not playing for fifth, first, and that's my goal.
I don't want to be rude, but those glasses were the stuff of nightmares. It was like Groucho Marx's glasses mated with the dashboard of a car in a dystopian vision of the future.
They've got to be a level, right?
I don't think so.
Back at our feature table, we sweated against Yan Dion. Now we're going to sweat with him.
Sweat with Jan. I am not Celine Dion's nephew, Dion.
Yes, that rumor has been flying around the poker room. It is not true. Yan with pocket fives will call Jerry Wong's raise.
We could definitely call and check out a flop here. We're deep. Jerry's deep. Maybe the big blind comes along for the ride like this. Gives us some better odds.
Three-way to the flop. 8-8-3 with two clubs.
This flop is quite dry. If it checks around, I think we're pretty good.
He does check around. Four of spades on the turn.
That card puts some more draws out there, but overall, it's a good, small card for us. Easy bet.
And Yan does elect to lead for 125,000. Shatilov will fold. He had King-Jack. Wong was the aggressor pre-flop. Didn't continue on the flop. He calls the 125K.
I think this could be a lot of hands and not one that's necessarily beating us.
Jack of clubs on the river.
I actually don't hate that card because a flush draw probably would have bet the flop, right?
215,000.
I like it. Bring it on down to Valueville.
There's a raise to 450,000.
Nothing really makes sense about this raise. I think we just pay it off and pray he doesn't have some monster that he played terribly.
Dion calls, and Wong shows a bluff.
Total air ball. Yes! Whee! 2 for 2 today. I am on fire!
Are you on steroids or something?
Oh, I mean, it's easier with other people's money.
Yan Dion, up to 3.2 million. Both he and Jonathan Roy are being railed by a former world champion.
I'm very proud of those two guys. I mean, they started the day they were three, though. Guillaume was there also, but now there's only Jonathan and Yan remaining. But Yan had got a lot of chips, monster chips. Joe just need a double up right now so he can get back in the game. So I'm really happy they're here right now. And hopefully I'm going to be back tomorrow to cheer him for the final table. That'd be pretty cool.
Just to make the French Canadians feel more at home, if they make the final table, we're going to surround it with plexiglass, drop the temperature in here to about 6 degrees.
Back at the feature table, Andrei Shatilov first to speak. He folds. Dimitar Danchev, King 10 suited.
Very decent hand, short-handed.
He raises to 80,000. Jerry Wong with ace 5 suited on the button will 3-bet. He re-raises to 180K.
I actually really like this 3-bet in position.
Jonathan Roy folds the small blind. Yan Dion gives up the big blind. Action back on Danchev. Looks like he will call the 3-bet. He'll have to play the flop out of position.
Wong, the slight favorite.
Not anymore. Top pair for Danchev, second pair for Wong.
Both players flopped pretty good for their hands, though. Fortunately, Danchev flopped a little better.
He checks to the last aggressor.
In general, I do like a c-bet in this spot.
Wong does continue, 150,000. And Danchev, with top pair, will call. The turn is another 5. Trips now for Wong.
This is an absolutely gross card for King 10. He's going to put in more chips, guaranteed. And Wong's ace-5 is more unpredictable than a Family Guy cutaway.
Danchev has checked again. Wong bets again, 425,000.
I don't see Danchev ever being able to fold this here, and if Wong plays it right, Danchev's going to be facing a big river bet.
Danchev calls.
Danchev's only shot is to soul read the river.
Well, the river card is the Jack of clubs.
See if Jerry goes for the Wong bomb.
Danchev checks a third time. There's more than 1.5 million in the pot. And Wong counts out a bet of 950,000.
Yep, that's 2/3 pot. I think maybe Danchev can get away from this since Wong hasn't really shown himself to be the craziest guy ever, except for how much he's willing to pay for a pair of sunglasses.
Danchev calls.
Whoops.
Wong shows the trip fives. Danchev mucks.
Dimitar, dang, why did I call there, Chev?
Wong now up to nearly 4.7 million.
And that is a very costly wrong decision to make on the final table bubble.
Jerry Wong, meanwhile, in great shape to make that final table. He's been playing poker since 2005. He plays online as Hummylun. And in the last few years, he's amassed live tournament winnings of more than $375,000.
I'm okay flying under the radar. I haven't tried to make a name for myself. I feel like the more I play, the more I gain respect from other players. And people can look on my body of work and judge based on that.
I don't think it's really fair to use the phrase body of work unless you're talking about strip poker.
Over the other table, Mikhail Blomley has a short stack and a pocket pair under the gun. He shoves.
You pretty much gotta.
Joel Micker has ace-8.
Call.
He calls from the cutoff.
Fairly standard call.
Ryan Fair on the button. Will fold. The blinds get out of the way, and Blomley's racing for his tournament life.
Blomley free-rolling this event after ending up at the top of the W-Coupe leaderboard in 2012.
Horrible flop. Not just one ace, but two. Blomley looking for a 3 on the river. No help.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.
Nice out. Yeah, buddy. Some extra antes. I just want some extra antes and stuff, that's what.
Worst run out ever for threes.
Blomley out in 10th. We're down to the final 9, and we are one elimination away from our official final table. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com, where there are qualifiers every day. So we're fast approaching the final chapter of the PokerStars.com PCA 10 main event. But before the page can be turned on day 5, one protagonist must meet his demise to determine the official final table. 9 remain, but only 8 will advance.
Not sure if these guys are all protagonists, but that's mostly because I have no idea what the word protagonist means.
Nice to see a good number of spectators on the rail as 9-handed action begins. And chip leader Ryan Fair will raise from under the gun with 7-10 suited.
This raise is looser than the admission standards must be at the University of Florida.
It's hard to get a read on somebody. You're so far away from them.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I've got a good read.
Shasilov calls with ace-jack from the hijack.
Fairly standard hand to call with in late-ish position.
The big table.
It is.
Yeah.
Hello.
You have me covered, right?
I don't know how much you have.
You have more than 5?
I don't know. I haven't counted. Whatever your mind wants is it's gonna perceive it that way. If your mind thinks I have you covered, I'm gonna have you covered.
Okay, so there's like Jedi mind stuff going on.
I don't know. All I know, it's on you.
This guy is a riot.
Wong with jacks will 3-bet to 280,000.
I like the 3-bet, but I think calling in position would have been fine too. And this should be an easy fold.
What did you start with, 5 million?
Whatever you want to think.
Okay, I can respect that.
You kind of have to. It's your line, brah.
God, I can't even get the raises.
Literally the first person that's ever had that problem.
So it's a 4-bet from Fair to 715,000. Action back on Jerry Wong.
All in?
He shoves.
Not sure that I would have shipped there. It's hard to get called by anything he's doing well against, and Jacks play pretty well in position.
Fair folds.
Guess it's better than getting bluffed off when an ace flops.
Wong up to 5.6 million.
Ryan Fair just gave away 750,000 chips on a final table bubble, though. Not advisable.
And he is no longer the chip leader. Action on Joel Micker. Ace-queen in the hijack. Raises to 105,000. Kings for Ryan Fair.
This could be it, kids. Here comes the 3-bet.
Sometime this year, I assume.
It's probably hard for him if he doesn't know how many chips he has.
He makes it 255,000. Folded back around to Mika.
And as deep as they are, it doesn't have to all go in before the flop.
Mika just calls.
And he is out of position.
The flop is all hearts.
Now it's going in.
I have the light right in my eye, and I can't see the flops.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Seriously?
This light is right in my eye.
Somebody get him his space glasses.
All right.
Mika checks.
Somebody at least read him the flop. He's betting dark.
Fair bets 325,000.
I'm guessing this is where it all goes in the middle. A lot of players aren't going to call out of that stack size.
Mika does call.
Interesting.
9 of spades on the turn.
Especially since you can brick the turn, and then what do you do?
Well, Mika checks a second time. And Ryan Fair checks behind.
Wow, got a free card on the river, and he got there.
It's a heart. The nut flush for Mika. The second nut flush for Fair. Mika checks it.
And Fair's going to let him check raise.
Fair walks straight into the trap, betting 450,000.
I think when Mika does check raise here, though, his hand is going to be fairly face up.
Watch as the jaws of the trap spring shut. 1.1 million.
This is either always the sickest bluff ever or the nuts. And on the final table bubble, I lean toward nuts. Then again, I think Ryan Fair is also leaning toward nuts, but more like the crazy kind, not the good kind like you want. I also think I probably would have bet more if I were Mika. I think the min raise almost looks stronger, and maybe Fair will sense that.
Fair calls and loses a huge pot to Joel Mika.
Sort of a cold deck, sort of a bad call, really bad timing.
Sit down.
At the start of 9-handed play, Ryan Fair had 6.3 million. He's now dropped below 4 million.
Oh, this is his normal pair.
You see how, but do you see how they're all dim? And then this one's the brightest. Yeah, like this, it's okay.
Joel Mika getting it quietly.
Wait, where's this guy going?
It's that light, I can't see the flops. And I don't want to play with sunglasses.
I don't think Ryan Fair is going to get any sympathy, and while he's whining, let's check on the stars in the high roller event.
Handsome Frenchman.
I can't reach out, man. No chips.
He's the ladies' man of poker in France.
That's a lot of qualifiers.
Everywhere else it's Gus, right? You got voted. There was Gus, you, and then Patrick. You know that?
I was not.
You won a bet in Bluff Magazine. The awarded to the year. You didn't see that?
No way.
I swear to you.
No.
I'm not kidding you. You're second sexiest man in poker. I bet you.
Elkie, no offense, but do not take that bet. Hey, maybe this light reminds Ryan Fair of the mothership that brought him here.
Ridiculous.
Seems that everyone on the rail is mildly confused and mildly amused by his antics. At least he's back at the table now.
I'm fairly amused.
Blinds are up, by the way, 30 and 60,000 with a 5K ante. Action's been folded around to Jerry Wong. He'll look down at Queen 9 of hearts.
Kind of an auto raise when it's folded to you in this position.
He raises to 120,000. Joel Mika accidentally folding face up there. Ace Queen for Ryan Fair in the small blind.
Typically a spot for a 3-bet.
He does re-raise to 255,000.
Smallish 3-bet though, so Wong's getting decent odds to call in position.
He does call.
Wong's dominated but suited.
The flop gives Wong a flush draw. Fair in front with top pair.
This is a board you definitely want to continue on. Make sure your opponent pays to draw, and you can get just pure value out of top pair second kicker.
Fair will bet for just over half the pot, 345,000.
Wong's got no choice but to peel at least one street.
He does call. The turn card is the 5 of spades pairing the board.
Definitely a fan of fair betting again here.
Looks like he will bet again. 465k.
This bet is pretty small relative to the pot, and Wong's super deep, so he can afford to peel again if he wants.
He does call.
A queen would be very bad for him, though.
The river. It's a heart. Once again, Ryan Fair gets rivered.
Well, at least he knows he can't value bet anything anymore.
He checks.
Wong's got the near nuts, so he should be bombing this.
He bets just over $1 million.
How much is it?
75.
I call.
Fair calls.
Pure frustration call. When a guy asks how much it is and then doesn't even wait for the answer, it's not always the most well thought out plan.
Ryan Fair tilting off his chips.
How much is it?
$1,075,000.
And Wong is getting paid off more than my student loans, which actually isn't all that hard because I don't pay them.
Jerry Wong now the commanding chip leader with 7.4 million. Of course, Ryan Fair was the chip leader at the start of nine-handed play. He is now the short stack with fewer than 20 big blinds.
And if he wasn't tilting off his chips before, he might do it now.
Action on Wong. He folds. Roy gets out the way. Joel Micker has ace-10.
Pretty solid hand to wake up with in late position.
He raises to 120,000. Ryan Fair has ace-6 and shoves.
And this could be it.
The blinds both fold.
It's about 1.2 or 1.1.
This is for a lot of chips and a very important spot and probably the biggest moment of Mika's career, but this is an absolute must call.
He does call.
There you go, man.
And Ryan Fair sees he is in horrible shape.
Fair is dominated. He's supposed to go broke here.
I like it.
What's there to like?
Who said life was fair? Ryan Fair.
The flop is king 10-7. Fair now drawing to running cards.
Good in.
Almost impossible to come back from this flop and only 2% chance of a chop.
And he is drawing dead on the turn. An unbelievable implosion. Ryan Fair out in ninth. And we have our final table in the PCA 10 main event.
Heck of a character, that Ryan Fair. He's gonna land on his feet, I bet.
And Joao Nogueira in this tournament for just $1 among the final 8 coming back tomorrow.
Yeah, man. You
Fucking coolers.
You played awesome.
Fucking coolers.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have shoved there.
Same seat. Maybe down to small run, Joe.
3 Canadians at the final table, and 2 of them are best bros.
But Jerry Wong is the man to beat when they return to play for the title, the trophy, and the $1.9 million first prize. And coming into the final, Jonathan Roy and Dimitar Danchev are the 2 short stacks. We've got 2 guys with more than 100 big blinds each. Joel Micker's a big stack after taking out Ryan Fair. Jerry Wong has more than 7.4 million.
I feel great. I feel tired. There was a mosquito in my room last night, and it bit the out of me. And so I didn't get any sleep. My plan for tomorrow. I'm just gonna win.
Join us next time as our final 8 takes center stage. All desperate to make history. But only one can emerge victorious.
Being crowned the 10th anniversary PCA champion, it would change my life.